Today we are going to go over how to prepare your images for the web. Obviously, if you've taken an image on your camera or your smartphone, it's going to be a little large for your website. So let's dive right on in, see how to do that. And this is an image that came off of my smartphone. As you can tell, I kind of staged it a little bit. We've got a refrigerator with an ice maker that's not working correctly and my tools all out on the counter where I've been working on it. So what I'm going to do, Photoshop can be a little overwhelming. So we're just going to cover one function at a time here. And today, obviously, we're doing image resizing. So come over in Photoshop to Image, come down to Image Size, and it's going to open up a little window that's going to tell you exactly what your current sizes are. Now, one thing we do need to cover is resolution. 72 DPI, dots per inch. It can also be called PPI, pixels per inch, although that varies slightly. We want 72 for the web, and we would want 300 if this was going into some kind of print. Now, we're not going to delve into print right now. We're just going to stick with the web, but keep that in mind because later on we're going to make one that does deal with images for print. Okay. Most of the time, I like my images to be small enough that if they get shown on a phone, that they don't have to be resized. And a good size for that is anywhere from around 300 to 280. So we're just going to bump this down to 300. We want to constrain the proportions as we make it smaller. So we'll put our new size in. Voila, we have a smaller image now. And let's actually bump that up so we can see it a little better. And as you can tell, this is a good time to cover this topic. When you take a smaller image and make it bigger, it gets ugly, as you can see by the way this picture looks. Let's look at it at its exact resolution. You can take a bigger picture down in size and not lose much of your clarity, but when you try to take a small picture and make it bigger, that's when you run into problems. So we're at, again, let's check it. We're at 300 width, 225 high at a 72 resolution, 72 DPI. This is exactly what we want for the web. So we're going to click OK here. And now we need to export this for the web. So in Photoshop, it's bad. You can do it through Save As, but it's best to go into the Save for Web and Devices panel. And you can choose whatever works for you. A PNG is good on an image if you have some transparencies in the image that need to let the layer underneath show through. We don't have any of this here, so we're going to go with something that's going to give us a little bit smaller of a file size. You can see at JPEG we have 11.82 kilobytes on about a medium quality picture. If we were to do this as a PNG 24, that size jumps up almost 1,000% to 112.3 kilobytes. Now we do have a better picture, but it's going to take a lot longer to download, which is not good. So sometimes it's necessary, but the rule of thumb is you always want it to be as fast as possible if you can. So we're going to go back to JPEG Medium, click Save, and we're just going to store it right back in the same folder that it came from. We're going to call this Refrigerator Opened. Click Save. There you go. I have the image saved now for later on, and I still have my original image. Now what I'm going to do, because I don't want to spoil this image, I'm going to go Edit, step backwards, make it back to its full size. Then I'm going to say that I don't want to save it, just to make sure nothing happens to that photo. So now I've got a smaller size photo, and I've got my original photo if I ever want to come back in and do something else with it. So there you have it. That's how you resize images in Photoshop. And tomorrow we're going to show you some free online tools that you can use to resize images if you don't have Photoshop. So thanks again for visiting ApplyItRepairMarketing.com.